Hi everybody, it's Janie at the League-Kempner House, and no, my lips do not match my voice. This is a day that Joe's not here to record, so I did it myself, and somewhere between the mic check and filming, my battery died in the mic. So I'm just going to have to tell you what's going on, and it just is perfect because it has been a crazy week. The last few videos you have seen have all been within the same week. Remember, we had overlapping projects and people here. It was just insane. We had Ricardo working. Mateo was here with the electricians. They pulled all that cable. The yard got graded. We got trees put in because we had that horrible deadly palm tree disease. It has just been a really crazy month, and we are just day after tomorrow from when this was shot is our fundraising fashion show. So we have many things going on at once, but I'm here on a day that we don't have tours, so kind of quietly by myself before everybody converges on the house. So I'm doing a little bit of touch-up work on the shutters. You've seen us working on these for years now, and we were trying to get them done and up before hurricane season, but hurricane season so far has turned out to be a dud. Hurricanes don't sneak up on you, but they form and we can track them. So we've been coordinating with McNatt Construction to hang these. They have some other big jobs going on, so they're not going to hang them till things settle down for them. But if we do get a hurricane in the Gulf start forming up, and it looks like it's coming here, they will come put them up. So they need to be ready, which means I need to finish up on the touch-up paint, and you've seen me doing that, but it's so hard to see. So I've set up sawhorses to try to get them in a different light so I can see the white spots of the primer showing through. And then I also need to glue up where the hinges go. So the new hinges are slightly smaller and have a different hole pattern. So what I'm showing you there is that I have a little setup on the side of toothpicks and wood glue, Type Bond wood glue, the exterior type, and I am just gluing and cramming toothpicks into the old screw holes so that that can set up and create a new, stronger place for the new hinges to be screwed into, so that the screws can grab in case they're smaller, in case the hole patterns don't match up. So it's really not a complicated process. It just takes a little time, and there's 3 sets of hinges on each of these 6, and each hinge has 3 screw holes. So I get that taken care of on this one that I've got down, and then grab my paintbrush and start with the touch-up paint while I have it here. While I'm painting these, let's talk a little bit about why they are so bright green. We've said before that we didn't pick this color. Nicholas Clayton did, possibly J.C. League as the person that the house was being built for. This is the first layer of paint that was on these shutters. So it was the color that they were originally painted when the house was built. And it makes sense if you put it into context of the time. The Victorians were very fond of this bright green color. You hear it called different things. Shields green, Paris green, emerald green, but they loved green. It was in everything. It was in their clothes, it was in their wallpaper, and it ties into a theme that we've talked about in the house before, kind of the Victorians going overboard on everything. And a lot of the excess in design and everything, I think, goes to availability. Things were not readily available to the masses before, such as all the incredible carved molding we have and everything here. It had to be done by hand by artisans. Textiles had to be woven by hand. They had to be dyed by hand. Dyes were very difficult. They had to use natural pigments and dyes, and things were limited. Even back way early, Leonardo da Vinci complained about there not being stable green pigments. Green was a very hard color to achieve, just like you hear about royal purple, that only the royals wore purple. That's because it was very hard to find a dye or a pigment to achieve that color in a stable way. So the first really stable green came about in 1775, and it was created by a German, Carl Wilhelm Scheele. I've heard it pronounced several ways, but he basically used copper and arsenic. Now, they had been using copper before, but you know how copper changes color? It gets that patina, that verdigris on it, and it continues to darken and change. So the greens were never very stable, and he created this way through a chemical process to stabilize it with arsenic. Now, they knew arsenic was toxic. They used it to murder people and kill rats, but they felt like in small quantities it was not toxic. So once they came out with the ability to create this in mass quantities and create a dye or a pigment that was very stable, then of course it became very, very popular as a color. Unfortunately, what happened was it was still very toxic. Paint, not quite as much as in the wallpaper and the clothing. So the wallpaper rooms, people would get sick from being in the rooms with the green wallpaper. They would get sick from their clothes, and it would mimic, like a stomach flu or something. You get gastrointestinal symptoms. So eventually they clued in that it was not healthy, and slowly the green phased out, but they were still using it up into the early 1900s, and they even coated candy in the green to make it bright for kids. So the popularity, I think, tied to the availability of it. Now, we don't know that our shutters have arsenic paint on them, because in the 1870s, 1880s, they began coming up with other compounds and ways to achieve the same or similar color. So we haven't had these tested, and it's really not a problem on shutters. There's a lot of literature out there you can go read. Part of the problem with the wallpaper is the way in which the wallpaper was made, and it has to do with moisture and mildew and mold spores getting the arsenic into the air and you breathing it. So it's actually a complicated process to get poisoned by this. So our outdoor shutters are not a problem, and most of the paint's gone off, a lot of them anyway. But yeah, that is how green became popular in the 1800s. I'm heading out to see what's going on right now. They're finishing up the window work, the correction of something we did before. We got all our crepe myrtles in and our oak tree in yesterday. And it looks like the little animals have been busy. And I noticed down here that our new retention area is still holding water, and it is hot and dry in between rain, so it's turning into quite a little animal sanctuary. We have a lot of, it looks like some very big raccoon prints, bird prints, coyote prints. So everybody's been coming to get a drink. I'm waiting for this to dry so I can rake this in the final contour shape, because one thing I'm doing today is getting the tape measure out to measure all this area and get our sod ordered and scheduled for delivery and installation next week, which will really change things out here. So got a few chores to do. My goal today is to finish painting those shutters. Got to get that done, and then I'll get the rake and come out here, clean all this up, and get it ready for the sod. So the electricians no-showed again today, which is a little bit frustrating, but at the same time makes for a quieter day, and I can focus more on the things that I need to do and get done.
A lot of raking over here to do, just smoothing out, watering. I need to go water those crepe myrtles so they don't die. Ricardo's been struggling in here with the opening for the vent. How's it going? Did you find a way around the rebar? No, still rebar? So this.
So this is part of the work we need to do to get this chauffeur's quarters finished out and pass inspection. And one thing we need are vents. So we need a kitchen vent, and we also need a bathroom vent. And the bathroom vent is a code issue. This kitchen vent is not. It's optional. But bathrooms have to be vented to the outside if they don't have an exterior window. Our bathroom is on the interior, so it needs a vent, and unfortunately this is the new construction and the concrete walls are full of rebar, so he's having some difficulty with that.
Now this looks fabulous in here. Everything's cleaned up for the most part. All those arches are out, and it just feels much bigger and more open down here. So we still have the huge project of getting the kitchen floor out. But he's going to finish all the other little stuff first, and then we'll get to that. I need to go grab tape measure and get busy and do my shutters. Oh, but I need some sawhorses. Back to the basement.
You know Ricardo, he's quick, so by the time I got my tape measure and got everything measured, he was on to the next project. This one was a little hard to film and show you what's going on, but we're in that bathroom where we had so much trouble with the toilet, and it opens on the side wall here to that chase that goes all the way from the ground floor up to the attic. And you've seen us putting plumbing in there, wiring in there, our temporary electric service in there, and we access it from two sides. We can get to it from the shower in the chauffeur's bath, and we can get to it from this little opening here in this bathroom. The problem is once we finish that shower in the chauffeur's quarters, we won't have that extra access. We can only access from this little bathroom, so we need a bigger opening for people to be able to squeeze in and do work. This is where we're going to run our big 6-inch line for the fire sprinkler system. So the space is big enough to get everything in. We just need people to be able to work. They can get to it above, you can get to it below, but Ricardo is going to open up this space and plaster these walls so that we can have a true full-size opening coming from the bathroom. So he's very particular about his work. I wasn't going to plaster it. I just thought it'd be fine to have the rough brick, but he wants it to look nice, and what Ricardo wants, Ricardo gets, because I love him. You have to write your name in it. Ricardo was here. Mm-hmm. All the old craftsmen used to put their names inside the building. Mm-hmm. And then there's some work in the chauffeur's quarters. There's damage to the ceiling, and we put up that beam because we're pretty certain it's solid, but we had space to put a beam, so why not? But now we have to cosmetically patch all this to get the ceiling ready to paint. So Juan went in and did a lot of chipping out of the loose plaster. I don't know what went on here with these holes. Somebody drilled a boatload of holes in the wall, but you can see that terracotta brick that the floor is made of. So it's a simple process of cleaning it up, wetting it again so that the mortar can cure and not dry, and then just smoothing on the new mortar and getting all that taken care of. They first put on a kind of a skim coat, I guess you would call it, and let it dry a little bit, and then they give it just a little bit of time to start setting up, and then they come back with a wet chamois kind of tool and smooth and really get the finish. Right now this ceiling up here is not super smooth, so we don't have to be too careful, but we do want it to look nice when all is said and done and it's painted. So this is, again, not structural work, it's more cosmetic work, but it is part of getting this apartment ready so that we can get it finished out. I was very curious to see how Juan was going to handle that gaping hole where they had done all that drilling, because they had broken the terracotta blocks and you can only put so much mortar up there. But I did not need to be concerned because these guys know what they're doing, and Juan went outside and cut some concrete cinder blocks up. I think they were cinder blocks, and created like these long concrete bricks and then slid them up into the opening and filled a lot of that gap so that he would have something then to stick the mortar on. So it was a pretty ingenious solution. You can see he's already got one in there, and this is the second one, and those terracotta blocks are hollow. So the first floor of this apartment was done with brick. As they moved up, they switched to the terracotta block. It's lighter weight, it's cheaper construction, and it was not holding as much weight, and so it's a very different medium to work with because it's not as easy as the brick to repair if there's damage to it. It goes up quickly, but it's much harder to maintain. But he was able to work that in and then fill this space and then just come back and mortar it. No, wait, first question was...
You're gonna choose the bricks or somebody coming to choose?
Oh, to lay them?
Type?
No, I don't have anybody to lay them. So if we have enough money left when we finish all the other stuff, I'll have y'all do it.
Okay.
If not, we'll have to wait and do it. But I think at the rate we're going, I think we'll have enough time. What Maribel and I are talking about is another project. Because these guys are so fast, I had actually a dollar budget to spend with them. So I had prioritized my list for the most important things first. And then, as usual, they sped through them. So we have several more days that I can pay them to work. So we're now looking at a completely different project that wasn't on the list, and that's help with the apron here. Since the excavator was able to remove all that broken concrete and we didn't have to do it by hand, it sped up the timeline. We need to get something down in its place, and we need to work on that path coming out from the door. So Maribel found some really cheap brick for 20 cents a piece. So we're color selecting and making a plan to use that. And then I had to head out and do my own work. Oh, that was easy. Okay, I'm a little red-faced and about to die. I've been on the phone on and off all day with the grass company and tomorrow. And so this has to be laid down ready. I don't know if you can see, I raked that tiny little section right there. It's hard to tell from here, but I did all around the crepe myrtles over there. This middle section is actually not too bad. It doesn't have trash. I just need to run the rake over it quickly and smooth out the tread marks and bring a little dirt up here to slope around the trees. And I've already done the swale. So it was $70 a pallet for them to do the unloading, and that is a deal. I'll take that deal. I'll pay for it myself because I'm the one that would end up putting it down. You can see I've got a little bit of trash I raked up over there, actually started. So I'm just trying to get it cleaned up so when they get here they can get it down real quick. And Ricardo, he's thinking I'm old. He doesn't want me to do the concrete, so they are planning on doing concrete hallway tomorrow.
But things are moving very, very fast. These guys, they're so quick. We're almost done with my list. I've added about 4 more things to it. We took one thing off that wasn't practical to do. I'll show you later. But next week, I think we will be done with everything and tackling the kitchen floor. So I'm going to take a quick rest. Oh, my Gatorade is way over there. So I'm not getting that. I'm just going to sit here in the shade for a minute and let my body temperature cool down and get back to raking. Okay, before I forget, here's the before. They're here early. Okay, it's going to be one of those mornings. Good, but just crazy. We have to go to the church and get set up for the fashion show. The electricians called and said they are coming today instead of next week. And then the grass guys called late yesterday and said they could come today instead of Monday, so why not? And they are here early. I plan on coming and finish cleaning all this area up, but they said they would kind of do it for me as they laid it, so that's awesome. But they're going to come in the back here, so I've got to get these gates open for them. That's a lot of grass. All right, I'm going to put you guys down. I can't do things at once. Get it. A lot of grass. They have not wasted any time. They're getting all the pallets in, unloading like crazy. The grandkids are helping for fun. But look how nice it is. It's beautiful sod. It's nice and fresh. This is already looking so much better. Alright, it continues. Hurricane is here. The blue team's back. The red team just showed up. I am so happy. I'm not doing this for $70 a pallet. This is money well spent. I will fork over the.
I tell you what,
I will fork it over. I did it the first time. Old man and I had a guy named Robert, and old man and I did the whole yard in the grass.
That's crazy.
He was slow and steady like me, and we just
I did the
raked watered grass.
The house that we flipped in Silsby, I did the whole front yard. I swore I'd never, and that was before knee replacement. I swore I'd never do it again.
Yeah, when he told me how much the pallet, I was like, sold. Sold to the lowest bidder.
Same bottle to come on, Kyle, I got some. It's your job. Just to,
That can just go straight across like
Okay.
that
okay.
to the side. You don't have to be fancy.
When we're about to be done.
Yeah, they can just go across and then
Straight across.
cross to the corner over there. Be fine.
Go back there.
A little bit of design on the fly here, since we ended up putting 2 crepe myrtles on this side of the greenhouse, anticipating the death of our palm trees on the other side of the greenhouse. I decided to have them leave a bunch of space around these trees so we can make some flower beds out here and dress up the front a little bit.
Takes a lot of water. All right, the blue team is scaffolding up. And they are going in. So this is to fix our water leak down the side. They're going to pressure wash and then put some caulk down that crack. You know, I've seen it before when we're inside in the addition. You can see daylight coming through between where the building was added on. They put no flashing or anything. They just built it up against it. No mortar, no nothing. So water just seeps in there when it rains. It's a little better with the gutter because we don't get as much water running down that crack, but there's still a lot in there. Now I've got to think while they've got that up there, if there's anything else that we want to do while we're there. All right, the fun continues. We are sealing up the crack where the water runs in and drips into the sunroom. But it's a big process just to get a little caulk up there. They're already way over here on this side.
It is quickly becoming apparent that despite my measuring and adding a 20% contingency, that I did not order enough grass.
All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. Whoa.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 left.
Oh, there's 2 over there. Okay. This is the part that stays a muddy mess. So if we can get that covered, this area covered, we can come back and do that other area in the next couple of weeks. I had planned on doing that myself, but it's too hot and they've started, so I'm not saying a word. I'm gonna keep some of the wood.
Where do you want to put it?
Well, you can just leave it to the side here. I mean, they won't take the wood at the concrete dump anyway, so.
Yeah.
So,
We're gonna
so
leave that.
yeah, so I'll pick through that later. All right. All right, we were 2 pallets short, but look what a difference it makes. And you can still see kind of the contour of the ground sloping back, kind of like a very wide swale, and it looks better over there. They've gone to get 2 more pallets of grass. Mighty Bell's headed to the concrete. Well, no, I don't think she went because she had a question for me. I think they're about to start on the drain pit. Let's see what's going on over here. Okay, so over here we've got the electricians have left, the wires through. Wow, okay, that is tan. All right, we agonized over the color match and it's not great, but I will get some paint and come back and paint it. It's paintable, and maybe faux paint it to look like the wall, but it's better than having a ginormous water leak in the house. All right, so you had a question about over here.
Maribel had a few questions for me about the project that we're going to tackle the next time they come back. And remember, this was just an insane time. So while the grass is getting laid, the electricians were also there pulling the cable. Ricardo and crew are working. This is now Friday. We are open for tours are going on above. Letitia and Kelly are over trying to set up the church and get ready for the fashion show. It was just pandemonium.
Yeah? There at the Lucas? No, the table runners. Where are they at? On the I'm yelling at you and you're right there. On the dining room table.
Oh, they must be folded.
They're in a bag. They're in a big bag with the flowers, I think. Here, you can just lay it right there.
La Paipa.
Yeah, so I'm having a quick air conditioning break. This is Joe from the Broadway Church of Christ. That's Mikey's head over there. They are
Mikey, pop up.
Say hi. They are cleaning pews. These are our incredible neighbors who have supported us from the very beginning, and their church is just gorgeous. This is my favorite floor in the whole world. It flooded in Ike and had to be redone, and they elected just to buff and stain the concrete, and it turned out gorgeous. But Letitia's here. She's going to get tablecloths. She's setting up. But we are 27 hours away from showtime. 27 hours away from showtime. Yes. I didn't go to the concrete dump today. I was very sad. But look, Ricardo's sending pictures of things he thinks I might like. So he's bringing me back some paver stones. So, yay, Ricardo. He knows me very well. Yes. All right, still waiting on the grass guys to come back. Ricardo got me some goodies at the concrete dump. Yeah.
All this crazy going on, and Joe's upstairs having a sit-down tour. It was actually a very busy day, so I do like to poke fun at her, though.
All right, it wasn't on the list, but the scaffolding's up. So we're going to pressure wash a little bit there. We've now got our hole, our light fixture for the porch, or for the apartment, I should say. And Maribel wants to know what I want to do with these pavers. Oh, I know.
Ricardo's moving around so fast at this point, I can't even keep up with him. I had wanted to film this process over here. There's this big pipe that came down. It's covered with a heavy black insulation. They're taking that down. We somehow missed a floor joist underneath that parlor alcove that never got replaced when all this work was done. So Richard's in there prepping that, and I had started to remove this pipe myself. I always worried about it being heavy, but it's really mostly this insulation. But since Ricardo's here and he's got the scaffolding, why not? And it's just a matter of sawing it apart and getting it down off the building. Another day I'm going to have him come patch a lot of these holes and intrusions into the building, but this is just ugly over here, and so I just want it gone for purely aesthetic reasons. It doesn't hurt anything. So he tackled that and got that taken care of for me. So this is not even the end of our day, but it is the end of our video. So you can tell the crazy is back here at the house. And remember, as I said before, I've edited out a huge amount that you've already seen in previous videos of stuff that was going on over the last couple of days. But I am going to end it here, and we will pick back up next Sunday. It is a mad dash to spend this little bit of money that we have in our pockets. So be sure and subscribe and turn on notifications, because we are going to be working hard for some time to come, and you don't want to miss anything going on here at the very fabulous League-Kempner House in Galveston, Texas. And for those of you who might be interested, remember we also have memberships on our YouTube channel. We have two levels. We have a 99-cent level, which we call a friend that gives you a members only video on Wednesday, and then we have the champion level for $1.99, which gets you the members only video and some members only live streams. And we've had some questions about how to actually join. There's a join button that you push. It doesn't say memberships, it just says join. It's not subscribe, it's a different button. So look for that join button as you're watching. So if you're interested, check it out. But for everyone else, we will see you back here next Sunday with another video.